Farmers who have used chemical fertilizers for decades have seen the quality of their soil deteriorate. With rising fertilizer prices, many farmers want to make their soil healthy and productive again in a natural way. Farmyard manure is good, but often not available.
நானே எங்கள் அப்பா எங்கள் தாத்தா எல்லாமே சேர்ந்து விவசாயம் பண்ணிட்டு வரோங்க. எப்படின்னா எங்களோட மண்ணில்
In the early days, I reared a lot of cattle to help with the farm work, so I got a lot of manure. But when we got a tractor to work the land, I started keeping fewer animals and I became completely dependent on chemical fertilizers. I did not make profit because I had to spend a lot on fertilizers. Before, when walking in the field, the soil was soft, but now it is hard. I consulted my father, who has been farming for 50 years, on what to do. He told me that because I used chemical fertilizers, the microorganisms in the soil died and the soil became hard. He also said that if I continue to use chemical fertilizers, I will lose my yield. The soil fertility will further decrease and I will not be able to continue farming.
இன்னொன்று அந்த இங்கிலீஷ் மருந்தில் செலவு வரதோடு எனக்கு இதில் லாபமும் அதிகமாக வருது, எனக்கு செலவும் கம்மி.
You can also plant shrubs and trees in and around your field, as we will learn from farmers in South India.
பொதுவாக வந்து தக்கப்பூண்டு இந்த செனப்பை இதெல்லாம் வச்சு மறுபடியும்
By sowing the seeds and incorporating them after they grow, it not only increases soil fertility but also increases the good microorganisms in the soil. I have been doing it for the past 3 years. Now my soil is soft again. I get a good yield, make profit and enjoy farming like this.
ஓட்டி பார்த்தோம்னா அப்போ நல்லாவே நமக்கு நல்ல மகசூல் கிடைக்கும், நல்ல தரமான காய் இருக்கும்.
Due to the microbial activity, the hardness of the soil decreases and more space is created between the soil particles so the soil can hold more water. And there are more benefits. Some good bacteria live in the roots of certain green manure plants such as black gram, cowpea, groundnut and soybean and capture nitrogen from the air. They convert this nitrogen into a form that plants can absorb. Green manure crops also suppress weeds.
களை வந்து ஓவராக வரதுனால நம்ம செனப்பு
I have been cultivating coconut and guava.
களை கண்ட்ரோல் ஆச்சு.
Without a cover crop, many weeds grew between the trees and took the manure and water that I want for the trees. Therefore, I now sow green manure crops and incorporate them in the soil. It reduces weed growth and nourishes the crop.
மடிச்சு அது போட்டிங்கன்னா களை கண்ட்ரோல் ஆகிடும்.
Green manure crops cover the soil so they shield it from extreme rain and the scorching sun, thereby preventing erosion. Their roots hold on to soil particles and hold them in place. Green manure improves the soil structure by adding organic matter into the soil. Green manure crops also breaks the life cycle of pests and diseases.
நிறைய அறுவடை பண்ணிட்டு வரேன் எங்களோட விவசாயத்து நிலத்தில். ஃபஸ்ட் நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்னா
I cultivate vegetables. If my eggplants get a disease, even after the entire crop is harvested, the diseases will live in the soil and be ready to attack the crop the next time it is planted. When I grow the same vegetable, my plants will get infected and not yield. To prevent this and to enrich the soil, I grow green manure crops before I cultivate my main crop. Pathogens that love vegetable crops do not like green manure crops and they die due to lack of food. This saves me the cost of fertilizers and pesticides.
Let us now learn how to sow green manure crops. First, superficially plow and harrow your field to break the clods and make the soil smooth. For half a hectare, you need 10 kilograms of seeds from different types of crops. You can adjust the type of green manure crops and amount of seeds depending on what you have available. To sow half a hectare, farmers in India take 2 kilograms of millet or sorghum, 2 kilograms of pulses such as green gram or black gram, and 2 kilograms of oil seeds such as sesame or soybean. To this, they add 2 kilograms of seeds of green manure crops such as sesbania or sun hemp, and 2 kilograms of spices such as coriander or cumin. When incorporated in the soil, these 5 types of crops provide nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and many micronutrients. Mix all these seeds together.
Legume green manure requires more water than, for instance, millets. So instead of using only one type of seed, we sow several types of seeds. Also, millets are rich in micronutrients like calcium. Pulses are rich in zinc, and oil seeds are rich in magnesium. Green manure crops contains more nitrogen than other crops. According to your situation, you can use the cheaper seeds and use more of the more available seeds and less of the less available seeds.
Before sowing, soak the seeds in a solution of 1 liter cow urine with 5 liters of water for 30 minutes. Cow urine has antifungal properties which help in controlling seed-borne diseases. Now sow the treated seeds in the field. Once or twice irrigate the field in case of drought. When plants are 5 to 6 weeks old, superficially incorporate them into the soil and let them decompose for a week. With the help of good microorganisms, the plant will slowly release nutrients that will feed your main crop. Now your land is ready for cultivation. Some farmers also enrich their fields with other leaves. You can incorporate green leaves as well as fallen leaves from below the trees to enrich your field with organic matter and nutrients.
I grow a lot of trees around the field. Before sowing the main crop, I collect the leaves of these trees and put them on the field and plow them under. I let them decompose for a week to convert into fertilizer before I sow the main crop. Through this, the nutrients required for the growth of the crop will be available and good microorganisms will have multiplied. This saves me time.
Flowering trees and shrubs in and around your field also provide additional benefits.
I grow flowering plants around the field, which enrich the soil and increase the yield. Bees come to gather food from the nectar and pollen in the flowers. They pollinate the plants in my field, so I get better yields.
If you want to convert fallow land into cultivated fields, try to sow green manure seeds 2 to 3 times. Then incorporate the 6-week-old green manure crops into the soil. By doing this, the hardness of the soil decreases and the soil becomes fertile and suitable for cultivation. This method can even be used to revive soils that have been heavily damaged by salinity.
ஃபஸ்ட் நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்னா உழவு ஓட்டிடுவேன். உழவு ஓட்டிட்டு நம்ம
After plowing the field, I sowed a mix of rye, green gram, sesbania, and castor. A month later, I incorporated the green manure. Then I collected green leaves from around the field, spread them on the field, and plowed them under.
2 டைம் அது பண்ணுறதுனா நல்ல சத்தான மண்ணாக மாறும்.
A week later, I applied well decomposed cow dung and I plowed the soil again. After doing this twice, I planted vegetable crops and had a modest harvest. But when I then sowed green manure crops once more, my next vegetable crops grew well and I got a good yield. If cow dung is not available, you can sow green manure crops twice more and then start cropping.
ஒரு காய்கறி சாப்பிட்டாலே போதும் நம்ம வாழ்க்கைக்கு.
So what have you learned? You can heal your soil and boost your soil productivity by using green manure crops. Different crops and tree leaves provide different levels of micro and macronutrients when incorporated into the soil. This adds organic matter, boosts beneficial soil microorganisms, and enhances soil fertility. For half a hectare, use 10 kilograms of mixed seeds including millets, pulses, oil seeds, green manure crops and spices. Soak the seed in a solution of 1 liter cow urine with 5 liters of water for 30 minutes. Sow the treated seeds and let them grow for 5 to 6 weeks. Once or twice, irrigate the field. Incorporate the young green manure plants into the soil. You can also add leaves from shrubs and trees grown in and around your field. Allow the leaves to decompose for a week to enrich the soil before cultivating the main crop.
Once your soil has regained its health and fertility, you can grow healthy crops to sustain your family.
தழை இதெல்லாம் வெட்டி போட்டு ஊற வச்சு தீனி கலந்து பயிர் வைப்பாங்க.
To increase food production, we should stop using chemical fertilizers that pollute our soil, air and water and grow green manure crops instead. By doing this, we increase soil fertility without damaging our nature. It's time we go back to nature.
நல்லாவும் இருக்கலாம், சாப்பிட்டுட்டு ஆரோக்கியமாகவும் இருக்கலாம்.